I'm pretty sure that consciousness can separate from the body. I don't want to get into supernatural stuff, but if there is going to be my consciousness going to another body, et cetera, there needs to be some kind of system, right? And it needs to also kind of agree in some ways with science. What I do know is that many, many people have near-death experiences. And when they have those experiences, they can describe everything in the room. They can say, well, I know because you went in the back room and you had a ham sandwich in the middle of the surgery, right? And the doctor's like, what? How did you know that? So there's these kind of things that we can't explain that are well documented. I'm sure there's many fake cases as well. But it's the same with reincarnation. There are many, many fake cases, but there are some cases that are so convincing, there's just basically no way. Ian Stevenson did this book on reincarnation. It's not really about reincarnation, but he was very scientific about the whole thing. He's not a parascientist or anything like that. He's a pure scientist. And he found what is called near conclusive evidence. Now, it's extremely difficult in science to find near conclusive evidence. So he was going through the methodology. It's probably not possible to find conclusive evidence of this, but near conclusive evidence is better than a lot of things that we take medicines and things every day and stuff that don't have this level of kind of certainty. So like the coincidences are just phenomenal. Yes, Clinton?
So at least perspective of 5 aggregates, the way it's presented, consciousness is completely interdependent with the sense faculties. So how would it be able to exist independently from the body?
Yeah, you say that, but what's the final consciousness? It's mental consciousness. So there's the sense consciousnesses, but there's also the mental images we have in our head. And what it's taught is that it's called shepa, right? So consciousness is called shepa, which means could mean intelligence or could be knowing, like you were using this word knowing, right? So there's this because it's not like an image, but we know something, we imagine something. So this shepa has a characteristic, which is that it's unimpeded by matter. So in Buddhist philosophy, there's physical matter made up of molecules, and there's conscious events, which are different conscious events that we experience. I'm not talking about what's processed in the brain, forget all that. We have thoughts, we see things, you don't see what I'm seeing, right? There's this mental world. That's the mental consciousness, and that is unobstructed. So that means it can do things like exactly as explained by people who say they had near-death experiences. I went up to the ceiling, and then I saw in the distance there was a child over there who was in trouble, and then they come back and say there's a child in trouble over there. Whatever these strange stories we hear, it works with that. And I don't know if this is valid or not, but when I was young, I was having these out-of-body experiences and kind of dream yoga experiences that I didn't understand. Later, I attended some Buddhist teachings, and the guy there was explaining the process of dream yoga and stuff, and I was just amazed because it was exactly what I experienced. But at the end of that, I was only like 12 or 14 or something like that. It's normal, actually, puberty, for people to have strange experiences. It's not that uncommon. And at the end of that process, which was going on for months, it was like every night I was having lucid dreams, and they were following this pattern of the lucid dreams they teach in the yoga. So like first you recognize your dreams, then you start to change your dreams, and then you start traveling to other realms. So at the end, this naturally in my mind was like, well, if I can leave my body, then I could go somewhere else. And so I started moving out of my body, and I started going up to the ceiling of my parents' bedroom because I was sleeping on their bed. It was like I was so tired and I was just sleeping all the time. And I really don't know what happened. And I went up to the ceiling and I looked back and I saw my own body and I got afraid. And then it was like an elastic band. It was like straight back into my body. It was this fear. And it never happened after that. I mean, I had other lucid dreaming experiences, but it wasn't connected with this event. It never happened again. And so my own personal experiences, it's exactly what people explain. I went up to the ceiling. It was like everything was transparent. So what's taught in Buddhist philosophy, this isn't just Tibetan Buddhist philosophy, is that this shepa is unobstructed. So when you die, shepa, consciousness, drifts away from the body. So the body's like an anchor. It's made out of the physical elements. When the processes stop after 3 days, because you still have some life force, there's soul, which is called life force. When that runs out, there's nothing to hold you in the body, and you kind of drift away. And because consciousness is unimpeded, then whatever you think about, then you go there. It's like if I think about my mother, then I'll just and I'll end up over where my mother is. If I think about something I did when I was young, like I went to Barcelona, I'll end up there. So this is what we call the Bardo experience. And the Bardo experience goes on for like 7 weeks, but not necessarily. It can be very short as well, but in general, 7 weeks. And it's, for most people, it's quite terrifying because you're not obstructed by obstacles and things like that. And, but again, you're not to believe this, right? You shouldn't believe this. This is what is presented in the Buddha Dharma. It's kind of their science, but it matches up with a lot of things people say. My neighbor over here, he's gone now, but he had a stroke, near-death experience. And he was like, he heard, just after that, I moved in here and I was a monk at the time. And he heard, oh, there's a Buddhist monk moved in. And he just came running looking for me. And he said, I just had this near-death experience. It was exactly like it taught in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. What's going on?